Oh, I'm coming quickly. Thank you very much. I'll be there shortly. Okay, let's try to follow this route out. Whoa. I think Johannes found something. Amazing. Okay, I'll be there shortly. So just keep coming east on Central. Hold on, Senzel. Just try to get out of here quickly. Very, very thick. I'm just trying to make up some time. Johan said Impala gave away the presence of this leopard. I don't know who it is. We're going to find out. We are going to find out shortly. I really want it to be Tingana. I love watching him, and it's nice to see him on his old turf again. We're not far from the road. Navigate through a couple of little things here. I do apologize. I will give you all my attention in 2 seconds. I just don't want to fall into a hole. We're almost there. I think Johan came out this route, so I'm just following basically where the grass was bent, but I don't want to turn my head away for a second because I know what will happen. Okay, here's the road. Let's jump out of 4x4. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Let's up the game. Because I know what this area is like off of Central. It's exceptionally thick. Super, super, super thick. So we'll just make up for a bit of time here. We're not far. I wonder if it was these Impala in here. Some rams. Johan actually said to me, he said that he's moving out. He's going to go have sundowners, I think. He didn't think we were going to have much luck, so he said he was going to go and check Central on his way out, just in case. So I think what's happened is he's come through here, whoever it is, snuck round, and then slipped on this way. I don't know how far down Central he is. We're just going to go through Giraffe Dip pretty quickly. Ooh, right, so there's votes. Could either be, well, I believe you're all voting, Tundi, Tingana, or Hosana. Well, I know it's not Oh, he was in the driving line. Coffee, I'm coming now. Thank you. I didn't even see him, Johan. Is he behind that way? Okay. Up top there. Okay, let's see if we can see from here. Let's just quickly look. Maybe there's a gap. Who? It could be either. It could be Tundi. Okay, copy. I'm just going to stand by and see if I can get a view. Yes, I think I've got visual. No, it's a stick. I don't have visual. Confirm, did you see the leopard? Okay, so it's moving somewhere through here. I don't know where at the moment. So I know Hosana was seen in the west. I'm just checking carefully. Maybe we can scan here, Senzo, maybe you can help. Just listening to some birds shouting, not in our direction. I don't know, this leopard's moving quite a bit. Could be Tundi, maybe. I don't think it was Hosana. Like I said, I had Johan, Aubrey and Taxon try and call me into a sighting a little bit earlier. Go again. Just listening. Trying to see if anything's going to shout and give away the present. Looking for... Just having a look. Nothing. Maybe. I don't know. Mystery here. Well, now they're saying maybe it was Hosana. Oh. Maybe we were fed wrong information. You can hear the crested francolins all calling, but they're not alarming. Right. I don't know. I'll be happy for any leopard. Oh, bless you. Sensel's doing a good old sneeze. Let's go to Rolf and see if he's managed to pull one of those spotted cats out of the bushes, because they've been hiding away from us today.
No spotted cat just yet. No such luck, everybody. I am still on the search, on the lookout, and now we're basically just doing the big circles because we lost him in the thickets there. We didn't see him, and I'm hoping that these guys haven't sent me on a wild goose chase because I haven't been able to see any tracks. I do know that there was a leopard around this particular area earlier. Paulie, good question. The easier of the two, I would say, is more so in green grass, when it's very green, because a leopard has got that more fawny color to him, or her. So in winter, when everything is brown, they are a little bit better camouflaged, but nonetheless, it's slightly easier, I would say, in green grass, but it's still not easy. If they don't raise that little tip of their tail, which is like a little white flag that a lot of us use as a telltale sign, note the pun, to spot them, then it's very difficult to actually find them as you're driving along. So using all the clues, you've got to look for the tracks. If they've crossed through a block, and then crossed the road. But once again, if you're driving along trying to cover a big area, you can very easily miss that little track that goes across the road, and then you're straight past. So sometimes it's a little bit of luck that you just need to get, and hopefully he pops out and walks along the road. Then obviously you just need to drive up behind him, and then you spot him quite easily. But once they're in the thick stuff, you need to really almost just get very lucky. That's at the end of the day. But at this time of the evening, the sun is just busy setting. It's that sort of golden hue, the golden hour, golden 2 hours. This is the time when very often lions and leopard will be on the move, walking around, marking their territories. And so we've got a good opportunity now of finding these cats on the road. At least we know we're in the area, but as I say, it's almost now luck of the draw. We've just got to keep on zigzagging. I'm going to go down. We're on Vuyatela Access, which is the main road coming in from the Djuma gate and almost straight to camp. So this is sort of a very central road, and they were seen just to our south. So I'm just trying to assume that they maybe cut through this block and land up on the road. If they're not, then they maybe be heading back onto hello, I'm just hearing some guinea fowl. Let's just stop and listen. It's also that time of the evening when guinea fowl can call anyway, because they're going to go up and start roosting. So they're all starting to gather, but if they're starting that, and now they've stopped, you see. Anyway, let's continue on a little bit. Let's see. Sometimes, as I say, you've got all the suspense and then it all comes to naught, but that's the bush. We can't... we're not going up to a window and there's the leopard waiting for us. This is totally wild, totally live, and we're trying our best to get these animals, but it's not always possible. We do try and use our skills to the max, but, well, the animals do remain elusive. And as much as they are habituated to the vehicle, Seb made the good point that we may have driven right past one of these cats, and they don't even get up out of the grass. That's the one downside of them being so used to vehicles and people. They don't really get a fright, and so normally if you drive through the bush like that, if a leopard was there and they weren't really habituated to vehicles, they would jump up or move out the way, and then that's when you spot them with that movement. But with them being so relaxed, they could be sleeping literally 2-3 meters away from where you drive past them, and you won't even see them. So we might just be on a wild goose chase here, but if we see anything interesting along the way, we will stop and see what we can see. So Well, that's what's nice. You sometimes have that goal, but you know, we might have an elephant chasing a lion or something in between. It's always interesting. What is the bush going to throw at us? That's always what is so exciting about it. Well, exactly. Thanks, Bex in FC, saying hopefully not plastic. Let's not get any plastic thrown around. I saw a wonderful initiative in Port Alfred, one of our local supermarket chains. They were actually taking 10 plastic bags. If you came in with 10 plastic bags and brought them in, which they were going to then use to recycle, they would give you a brown reusable paper bag. And so they've started doing that now, getting everybody to bring in their plastic bags. And well, you know what, everyone, I surf a lot on our east coast, which is the Indian Ocean, and we've got a river coming in just where we live. It's called the Cowie River. And the amount of pollution that starts to come down the river, you know, we have a lot of wind on the coast, and so plastic bags get blown into the river and it all washes out into the ocean, and we see a lot of pollution while we're surfing. You know, it's probably better than most places in the world, but eventually that washes up on the beaches. It suffocates all the sea urchins, the turtles. You know, it gets stuck on them as well, and they also suffocate. And it's just so sad. Especially most people don't actually see that suffering from something as simple as buying a plastic bag and you throw it in the bin, or it blows out your car window, or you know, it's just, we all need to make a collective change as human beings, even just those small little change. You know, if today you don't buy 3 plastic bags, you get a brown paper bag, well, you know what, those 3 plastic bags aren't going to land up in the landfill site or in the rivers or wherever, and you can make a change. Like the old African proverb goes, if you think you're too small to make a difference, well, try spending an evening in your bed with a mosquito in the room. Aha! Think about that one. That little mosquito will keep you up all night, and he's but a little smidgen of an organism. So don't think that you're too small to make a difference. Everybody can make a difference, and well, let's all try together on this Earth Day just to remember about what we are doing and how we can maybe change. That's all. It's just the thought that counts to start, and then, you know, that can grow. It can become a movement. Well, the movement I have is, for the moment, trying to find leopard, but it's been the whole afternoon now. Sometimes it's best not to try and find them, and then it lands up that you do. Well, while I continue on the search, let's head on over to Taylor, who's also doing the same.
I fear there is much bush broken telephone that's around at the moment. The conflicting stories that were being told on the radio were magnificent. So now we actually don't know who this could be, who was on Triple M. So we'll just have to wait and see. Let's see if we can find a leopard, though, between us. Oh, there we go. So the tally is in, and 56% of you are hoping that it's going to be Tundi. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm hoping, I really wanted to be Tingana because I think it's quite cool that he's lingered back onto the property again after spending so much time. Maybe Chitwa was like the hospital where he could recover. I have yet to hear Tingana saw for a very long time, and we know that he used to be a very vocal cat when he was typically quite dominant. Just trying to see here. There used to be some roads that would go down into this drainage, but it's obviously overgrown quite a lot. I've never heard Hosanna saw at all. I think that's the one I'm looking for, in fact. So Tundi also can be quite vocal too. So I mean, it could be anyone, but it would be nice to see, don't you think, Tingana just creeping on, you know, maybe coming back for a second fight Perhaps he's got strength again. We'll just go down into this little dip here. Just going to quickly keep checking. Hey, a little bit bumpy. And just see if I can't see any tracks in the sand. Even if we just get one. Please, can I come and join you? I've been trying to relocate. How far along Central are you? Have you reached Hyena Road yet? Okay, hold on, Senzo. The leopard has popped out again. Reservoir Road. What's that? Okay, copy. I'm just on Twin Dams, approaching, jumping back onto Twin Dams, heading towards Chameleon. If I can come and join you, that'd be great. I think it's the same leopard. Okay. Right, this leopard is on the road. Eow. Safari. We're not going to go too fast, but I want to try and play catch up because now we're far away. Now we're on the other side of the drainage line, which is no good. This is the only time. Please don't let there be an elephant roadblock. Please don't let there be an elephant roadblock. Okay, we're going down into a little dip now. We're going to pop up at Chameleon. You have to make racing car sounds as well. Drive relatively quickly in the bush. That's just one of the rules. Now, it's my favorite thing. I wish the speedometer actually worked because the speed at which we're going is not actually that quickly, but because the roads are quite windy, it feels fun, you know, like a little zippy car. It's awesome. And so I suppose the closest I'm ever going to get to being a rally car driver. Hey, so you better make the most of it. Only with wild dogs do we zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, going through a little dippy. Up we come. So we're not far from jumping onto Vulture's Nest, which pops out onto Central. Whee! See, this is cool. Very windy. Okay. Just going to keep an eye out though, because there could be anybody else. Any other leopards too. Right. James, I'm sure, is hoping for his knight in shining armors to come and rescue him. Let's go and see where they are and how they're faring.
Our two knights in shining armour have got lost. They are nowhere near where we hoped they would be. Anyway, so we're going to look at this tree. And of course, this is a good opportunity for me to mention Earth Day. I believe Ralph's been doing a good job of that. And a very worthy cause this year, the reduction of plastic pollution. Every single day we are assailed. Our senses are assailed with dreadful pictures of animals dying of plastic pollution, of huge swathes of ocean wilderness covered in the waste that we as human beings make on a daily basis. So if you can reduce your plastic consumption, and I bet you can, then please do. That would be marvellous. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say about Earth Day. Anyway, we can look at this tree. This is Central Road that we're on now. This was the road that we told those dear people to come and fetch us on, but alas, well, not any luck. So what we'll probably have to do is create a fort underneath this tree and sleep inside it. Right, we're going to go. We're not really, Aidan, going to sleep in the fort there. We probably will be picked up. Well, let's go back across to Ralph, who I think is still looking for the invisible leopard.
Looking for a leopard we are, everybody. And, well, once again, if you're struggling to find your predator, go to the prey. So we're back with these impala that are still in the exact same spot. And, well, at least it's something for us to watch and chat about as well, as we sit and listen if we can hear any alarm calls that will give away that these leopards are moving through the area. And after we've done that, we'll continue along and see if we can find them walking along the road. But I think we're also switching to infrared, which is our nighttime vision shortly, just so that you know. Okay, here it goes. You're going to see a change. There we are. So, that's wonderful. Now, everything is on the go there, and these impala are quite energetic at this very moment in time. And so now you can see everything without us having to use any lights, which does disturb them, and we don't like to do that with daytime or diurnal animals. I see a little bit of argy-bargy there. Oh, yes. See that? That's also a bit of stotting, a bit of head-butting. Oh, those are females. Oh, definitely. Whoa. There's all sorts happening now. A bit of dominance going on. That's a young male there. I think he's going to get sorted out by the big male if he gets seen doing that. And that's when they start getting pushed out and forming their own little bachelor herds. Because the big male won't tolerate that. Kaya, we have all sorts of different antelope in South Africa. We have waterbuck and bushbuck and oryx and springbuck and all other ones too. We've got some kudu, and then we've got some little ones like the little duikers, and the blue duiker is one of the smallest antelope that you find, and the little steenbok, which is an Afrikaans word which literally translates to a stone antelope. Because very often when you see them, they just freeze. They're very similar color to that of the impala, but much smaller. And they don't stay in big herds like these impala do. They only normally in one or two of them. So much smaller, and they just stay in the little thickets, in the thick bush. But thanks for your question, Kayla. And I hope that answered your question. We've got lots of different antelope in South Africa, but none more elegant and beautiful than the impala, I would say. Look at that. Everybody now starting to get quite energetic, but remember that they need to really try and keep very alert through the darkness hours. And it's obviously we've got the infrared or the night vision on at the moment so that we don't disturb them with the light, but their vision is going to now go slowly less and less, and that's when the predators really have a big advantage when they hunt at night, because they can take them by surprise. But how do the impala combat that? They've got lots of eyes and ears, and they are very alert, and anybody picks up a smell or a sound or a slight movement in the bushes, they will alarm call, and all the rest of them will pick that up, and then they'll run off. And they're normally bombshells, so they all run in different directions, so it's difficult for the predator to then pick up one particular animal. And also, it's like me when I go surfing in the ocean where there's lots of sharks. I always make sure I've got a friend or two with me, and then the odds are better that if one of us is going to get taken, well, I've got a 1 in 3 chance that it's not going to be me. So that's why, I take friends. Well, I call them friends, but it's just making up the numbers. Never too late. Thanks for your question. Yes, there can definitely be an overpopulation of species in the bush. And normally, if it was in natural populations without any boundaries and they would be able to move or migrate to different areas, when there was an overpopulation in that, where we didn't have boundaries and countries where we put up these massive fences and boundaries for animals, the animals that would be the surplus would start to move out and start to populate areas where there were less of them. But now that we've got fences around them, sometimes we do need to control those bigger herds of especially the bigger mega animals like elephants and so on, it is a controversial subject, because how do you control them? Like for instance in the Chobe area of Botswana, they've taken on a no sort of aggressive stance on controlling the numbers there, and they've probably got tens of thousands too many elephant at the moment. And if you ever get the lucky chance to be able to go to Chobe, at this particular moment in time, it is very barren. You've got trees and dust. And so it does start to have an effect on a lot of the other animals if you have overpopulations. That's just one example of overpopulation. I've seen it in the Pongola area of KwaZulu-Natal, where there's overpopulation of warthogs. And it's literally herds of warthog. I've seen hundreds of warthog out on the plain, and they overgraze the grass to very similar like what the elephants do, but on a smaller scale. So very important and very difficult, and also very controversial. Okay, I'm going to see if we can continue and find some more tracks of these leopard. While I do that, I think Taylor's doing the same. Let's go to her.
You know what, Ralph? You probably saw it too, seeing as though we're briefly, on the same reserve, not the same time, but at Kruger. You may have remembered seeing all those massive, they look like crop circles, but they were in fact made by the warthogs from overgrazing too. There was a big problem down on one of those reserves. Now, we're having a good laugh. Can I just tell you about the leopard saga this evening? So, on the radio, I obviously raced because I heard there was a leopard on Central going east, which is exactly where Johan had that brief visual of that leopard slinking down into the dip on Central, just off-road, going into sort of a Tamboti thicket, going east. Would you believe that there were two different leopards within 20 minutes apart of one another, both going east on the only two central roads in the northern Sabi Sand? How's that for a coincidence? So the other leopard was apparently on Torchwood. So now we need to figure out what leopard is moving around on Torchwood. That could be another one. I'm wondering if that is also, if that's maybe not Tundi. I don't know. I think Reservoir Road, because I was like, where's Reservoir Road? That's not on Djuma. And then that's when we asked, and we were like, is this a torch? Where are you? And then we figured out was not here. So Johan is racing to that sighting to go and have a look for us, because he's also trying to help us solve the saga. Bumped into James and the Bushwalk team standing in the dark, because Kirsten and Louise are now trying to find James. And they're not in a difficult spot, but they also don't know the roads very well. I mean, they don't get to drive the vehicles around like we do. So I was having a chuckle at the two of them trying to now find James, but well, I suppose they're okay. They'll be all right. I'm just quickly having a quick scan here. So now we don't actually know what on earth is going on. Which leopard is which, where they are. They could be anywhere at the moment. And Ralph and I can't find any of them, which I find pretty hilarious. Doesn't nature just have the most amazing sense of humor? They're teasing us. I mean, like Ralph was saying, he can't even find a track. Neither can I. I have not seen a single footprint of a leopard around here, but two different people have now seen this cat, except us. We just keep missing it. It's hysterical. Okay, we're going to try Twin Dams again, and then if we can't find anything, I'm out. Just to give you an idea of where this leopard went, do you remember that one time, I think I've said, do you remember that one time about 700 times today, when I found the Nkuhuma Pride? I had to go like very far off-road. I think we may have even had some thick knees flying off. I'm trying to think what bird we had nesting. I think it might have been a green woodhoopers, in fact, in a dead leadwood. And we drove from Central just after Giraffe Dip, and we went back towards the Mulwati. And is that a chameleon? You can have a look at the chameleon while I tell you the story. Hello, chameleon. I'm going to take that off. We're also in infrared now, as you can see. So basically, it's down in that drainage line. Remember, I think it took me about 20 minutes to off-road a space of maybe 150 meters. It was so thick. But eventually we found the Nkuhumas all laying out in the open. It was during the peak of the drought. It was a very long time ago. It may even actually have been in 2016. Or right at the beginning of 2017, but I think maybe 2016. But here we go, a beautiful flap-neck chameleon. Just sitting about, going, what on earth are you staring at? Have you spotted me? I wonder if it's realized that we have spotted it. It's not looking at us, it's looking down with one eye. Now it's looking at us. Hello, chameleon, if I wave at you? No, I waved at it, it didn't notice me. Or didn't seem to show that it noticed me. And it's nice though, always nice to see chameleons, and it is a very, very warm evening, so I'm not surprised, and I don't think this will be the only one. I think we may see a couple tonight. I think Ralph will probably find a few as well on his venture home. He's going to go past some serious hotspots. So there we go, Ralph. Shall we try and show the viewers how many chameleons we can find tonight? Not a competition, but a joint competition. I'm trying to think, what is the most we've seen live in one evening safari? You're going to have to help me. You're going to have to hashtag Safari Live. Let us know, because I can't remember. I think it's about 4 or 5. Let's see if we can perhaps beat it. How much time do we have left? 29 minutes to try and beat it. Well, in that case, then we better get a move on. Hey, Sensor? I think so. I think we should definitely get a move on and see if we can find any more. Bobby, you're asking about spikes on the underside of its body, on its belly. I don't think the chameleons have spikes on their belly. They're fairly smooth. They've got spikes, sort of ridges, going down their spine, but I can't ever think on the underside of their body, on their belly. I can't ever remember seeing. We just had one. We have to find another one now to try and have a look. I suppose that's just the design of it. I'm not sure if that would protect them very much. I mean, they're not super prominent, not like a thorn on a tree really. Perhaps it enhances camouflage, breaking up a sort of solid shape, those ridges up against the tree. You're not making it look like a solid thing, maybe making it look more like a spiky spike. I don't know. But I can't say I've ever seen a chameleon. Can you imagine a studded belly chameleon? Marcy, now another one with the chameleons, asking about their fingers. I don't know if you can call them fingers. No, of course I'm doing this, because they've got 2. They're like that, and then they just go across. Let me find another one. I'm pretty sure we'll find some more here. It's such a beautiful evening. It really is a great time. So they've got 2 of those on either side that they just sort of hook round things. Is it 2 or is it 3? No, I'm pretty sure it's 2 now. Now I want to go back to that chameleon, but I also want to find more, because I've now set a challenge for myself and for Ralph if he wants to partake. He doesn't have to, of course. Nothing is compulsory out here. Just a bit of fun. And now we need to have a look and see if we can find another one. But they've got amazing grip, though, the way that they can hold on. I don't know what the claws. What are the technical terms? Feet? I don't know, but I don't know if I would call them fingers. Right, let's go and see if Ralph has managed to find a chameleon, and perhaps he knows what those little paws are called.
Thanks, Taylor. Well, you know what? I'm trying my best to find chameleons, but Taylor's got very good chameleon eyes, because when we were in the Masai Mara, she also managed to find one out of the blue when I was driving with behind her one morning as well. So it seems she's quite good at that. I used to be very good at finding the Namakwa chameleons in the Nama desert, but I know what their tracks look like, and I know where they used to hide, but I used to track them down. Here it's a little bit random, where you've just got to look in the trees and then have good eyes to spot them. But my technique with those Namakwa chameleons, which is over 10 years of tracking them, are very different to what we have to do here. And those of terrestrial, not terrestrial. Oh, okay, let's head back to Taylor. She's got something lovely to show you.
Look at what we've got. Sorry, Ralph, I've stolen everybody away from you, but we've got a little pearl-spotted owlet, and it is absolutely precious. Now, it is sitting so close to us, maybe only about 15 meters away. I can't believe it didn't fly away. It looks like it has had about 37 energy drinks, though. It cannot keep its head still. See? up down. It's kind of like me when I was trying to find that leopard off-road. Now, the reason why I know it's a little pearl-spotted owlet, if it turns its head all the way around, it goes. Hang on, let's see, we're going to see where it lands. Let's follow it. It had little black spots on the back of its head. It's also got tiny little white spots on the front and top of its head. Let's see, I don't think it would have gone too far. Little owl, where did you go? That's not an owl. So I'm looking for a nice perch. If I was an owl, where would I sit? Probably on a tree. Nah, I think we may have lost it. It may have just gone in a little bit, and with all the foliage being very, very, well, thick at the moment, it'll be quite tough to try and find it again, but you never know. Nice spotting, Senzo. You're on a roll today, aren't you? Please spot me a leopard, Senzo. I'll spot the chameleons, but if you can find the leopard for me, that'd be great. Okay, I'll tick. But let us now find another chameleon. We can have another look at it. This has been a hysterical day, hasn't it? I don't know about you. I bet you would have preferred to have actually seen a leopard. But Ralph and I promise you, are trying our absolute best. Absolute best. Now, I very rudely interrupted Ralph. I'm sorry, Ralph. So let's go back to him to find out more about that Mara chameleon.
Thanks, Taylor. And to answer that question, I think, if I'm not mistaken, chameleons are bidactylous because they've only got 2 fingers on each foot or each arm. So I think it's bidactylous, if I'm not mistaken. And very, very characteristic track that they leave. It's actually, it can only be confused with a tortoise or terrapin track because of that scrape that they do. But obviously the body of a chameleon much thinner than the shell or the body of a tortoise, so the feet would be much closer together, so you wouldn't be able to mistake it for that. But they do put their foot down and then they drag it forward, so you have that, and exactly the same with a tortoise. So in soft sand and a little baby tortoise, you could confuse it with a chameleon, and I've actually done that before. So, and I'd been tracking for many years when I did that, so very easy to make. Ravinda, how many species of chameleon are in the reserve? Let's just put the IR on there and see if we can spot that. There we go. Our trusty old favorite. I think only what is it? I forget the flap-necked chameleon, and I think there's one more, but there's not many. But definitely the flap-necked chameleon, very common. And we get down south on the Eastern Cape, we get the little dwarf chameleon. They're tiny little things, less than the size of your finger, and that includes the tail. So here we have a Cape scrub hare, one of the usual suspects that are the first of the nocturnal animals to be out and about. This could fall prey to animals like caracal and jackal. And remember now, we've turned off the lights, so he's not confused by anything anymore, and he can continue on his normal behavior. Look at those ears, ever listening out, hey? And very big eyes to enable him to trap any light that there might be, but mostly operating by sound and by smell. A very good sense of smell as well. Very fast are these little chaps, and they are quite territorial as well. You'll see them sometimes, they go and mark on top of a little termite mound. It's actually one of the tracks and signs that we had on one of our assessments, and I got it wrong a couple of times, but I'll never get it wrong again. It's a very special little mark that they leave. Very impressive. He's watching something in there. Either that or he's just relaxing. But okay, I think we need to continue because I want to see if there's anything else wonderful that we can find. Sorry if I started there a bit early, Seb, while you were zoomed out. Okay, so let's continue and see what other nocturnal creatures we can find. Speaking of that, Taylor's still got some of those nocturnal creatures. Let's go off to her.
I'm hoping so. I'm still searching for chameleons. I've got my heart set out. I'm trying to find as many as I can. Not winning though. Now, Jade, I have a note about this. I just need to find it because I cannot remember for the life of me. I've had way too much energy today. I shall read it to you in a minute. I just want to go through this little dip and then I'll pull out my notebook. See, I'm the queen of forgetting things, so that's why I have to write everything down. My brain can only obtain so much knowledge. Young Jade, I shall show you in a minute. Let me just quickly go through here, because I know sometimes there can be gremlins, so I don't want to stop in a gremlin-infested area. I'd rather zoot on through. Okay, we should be safe now. Just checking for chameleons. No, where's my notebook? It won't be in that notebook because that's a new one. Yay! Trusty old blue. Alright. I'm just going to try and find it quickly. No, Sensor, you can't see what's in here. Stop trying to snoop. Sensor, snoop. Why is there a stink bug in my book? Look at that. This is the worst creature in the entire world. There. Walking towards the... There we go, in the groove of the book. That is a horrible stink bug. Get out of my notebook. I don't want to see you because you try and fly into my mouth and you taste absolutely terrible. Let me turn it. Sorry, there we go. On the feather now. Oh, flew away. Whew. I'll swat you if you come near me. Okay. Chameleons. I've got lots of notes on chameleons because there's so many amazing things to know about them. Whoops. Pages falling out. Let's go back and have a look. I wonder. Jade, I'm so glad that you are so happy. Maybe it's in the brown book. I've got so many notebooks, Jade. Jade, so many. And I should put them. No, I've got it in here, Rebecca. I have it in here, but I want to get it right. Chameleons. No. Okay, I don't have the answer, Rebecca. Not the proper one. I thought it did. I don't know which notebook it is. It might be in my small little one. I've got everything else here, but I haven't got... Oh my goodness! Right, it seems as though Ralph is winning. He's joined the chameleon team. Jade, I can't answer your question because I'm hopeless today and my brain can't concentrate. So let's go to Ralph who's found a chameleon.
Thanks, Taylor. And yes, well, I must confess, my cameraman, Sebastian, is the one that spotted that, so I can't take the credit for this one. But nonetheless, he's part of my team. And yeah, thanks, Seb. Yeah, look at that. A beautiful chameleon, flap-necked. And we would only really be able to see that flap neck if we had to go up there and irritate him, which is not exactly what I want to do. And then the flap on his neck would literally start to change color and go a very bright red or yellow. And you can actually tell if it's male or female by the color that he changes to, or she. Now, I'm not sure if Taylor has told you any of the folklore around chameleons. They are very interested with the local people and a lot of the different tribes around Africa. There is a lot of folklore around these little creatures, and a lot of it is quite negative as well. So they're quite scared of a chameleon because of its ability to be able to look in completely different directions, the two different eyes. So they say that the one eye is looking into the future and the other one looking into the past. And if you stare at a chameleon, he will tell you your future, but it's normally not very good. So there is quite a bit of persecution of these little guys, and that's why I, wherever I can, try to educate the little locals, or just try to show them the good side of chameleons. And it's also a lot to do with snakes as well. There's also quite a lot of folklore around that. Now, as we sit still here, we are getting invaded by insects. So sorry if I do shift around a little bit with my light, but look at that. Now, I know that Taylor was looking to find out if they can see in color. I'm almost 100% sure that they can, because that is half the reason why they start to change to the color of what they what they are resting near, or where they are. And the ones in Namibia, the little Namakwa chameleons, they use the color change a lot for thermoregulation. So they're very white when it's very hot in the midday, and in the early mornings when you see them, they're very dark. And that's all to do with heat reflection or absorption, as they are ectothermic, some of the reptiles, as all of the reptiles are. So they need to take on the external heat, and geez, we're getting a lot of insects here. It might even help this little chameleon.
I just want to show you your torch.
Yeah, look at these insects here. We're getting invaded, everybody. This chameleon might actually get a meal because of us. I'm getting dung beetles. Are these little dung beetles? I think they are. No, they're not. But whatever they are, they definitely like this light. It's really strange how these creatures fly towards the light. It's almost like, why don't you fly towards the sun during the day and go and frazzle on the outer stratosphere? No, just joking. But there's a lot of them. Wow. But back to the chameleon. And these chameleons are arboreal, meaning that they stay in the trees, not like those terrestrial ones. Sitting bull, good question. Chameleons curl their tails. Well, they do use it as a climbing tool, and obviously when it's not in use, then it does make sense for them just to curl it up a little bit. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever seen how the chameleon moves with a very shaky motion, and they're very slow actually, especially when they're trying to move from one place to another. And it does, for me, mimic either blowing leaves or grass, which is blowing in the wind. And so that's the kind of motion that they get. Wow, getting attacked. But look at those eyes, eh? And Dana, those little feet of the chameleon are not sticky. Well, I'm assuming that you're referencing geckos. Now, it has also been proven that geckos don't have sucky feet. They actually have a very fine network of hairs. And I think it was a National Geographic documentary that I watched that they obviously put it under a microscope and they could see these hairs, but they proved it by putting a gecko on a pane of glass, and they turned the pane of glass around. And so once it was they're doing it on a vertical point, so they put the gecko on it and then they turn it 360 degrees, and when it's facing upside down virtually, it needs to shift to realign those hairs, which then go into all the little cracks, and then seems like it's got suctions, but it actually doesn't. It's all a fine network of hair. And these chameleons don't have those fine network of hair like the geckos have. They've literally just got two fingers that they use as clamps. And then they've got little claws on them as well, or little nails. So then they'll use that to assist in gripping on whatever they grab on. But very interesting. So it seems that we've all got bug problems. I think Taylor's also getting bombarded. Jason, I believe that chameleons are territorial, and I don't think that this chameleon would allow another chameleon to come and join him on his particular tree. And as I said, I'm not quite sure if it's a male or female, but they will defend their territory, and it all comes with a lot of color changing, and you can actually see their mood as well. So it's not only for camouflage. As I said, it can be used for thermoregulation, and it can also be used for a particular mood. So Cassandra, I hope that answers your question. If they spot another chameleon, they might go very bright colors, and the one with the brightest colors and the biggest body, he will be the winner, and try to deter the other one. Now, when I was with those terrestrial chameleons, we used to just show people them on the ground, and they actually can be quite tame. We used to catch the little tenebrianid beetle and just hold it by the leg and move close to the chameleon. And once both of those eyes lock in onto that beetle, you know that you're in business, because he walks forward a little bit, and then he will shoot his tongue out and take the beetle right out of your fingers. But you need to hold it a little bit softly, because you can also damage their tongue if you hold onto the leg and it struggles when it pulls back. But incredible, the photos that we were able to get. And obviously there were a lot of tenebrianid beetles, like we are getting bombarded with at the moment. But I don't think that I'm going to try that right now, because I don't know if this chameleon will appreciate it. He might actually just be disturbed by my presence. So I've never tried it out with these little guys. But we used to find the little five, which included a lot of the other four little animals, which I have mentioned before. But back to our little animal here, and he's going to be just sitting there waiting for anything to come nearby, and then he will also shoot his tongue out and catch it. And they can actually eat a lot of beetles, and those ones that were studied, I heard that they could eat up to over 20 tenebrianid beetles a night. And those are the little toki beetles, the ones that walk on the ground. I would imagine here these arboreal flap-necked chameleons feeding more on the flying insects. See those eyes? He's trying to lock in on something, and I'm sure with the light here he's getting quite interested in what's flying around us at the moment. I'm getting attacked as well. But look at that, eh? Very cool. I like it. Oh, he's moving a bit. There we go. Let's keep watching him, because when they do that, it can very often mean he's locked in on something. Ludmilla, the chameleons do make a little bit of vocalization, but it's mainly a hiss. So they go. If I had to go close to him now, which I'm not going to demonstrate, and they can also do it to other chameleons, changing color into bright colors and hissing. So yes, but it's not really a vocalization then, is it? It's a passing of wind, but it is a noise that they make. So not particularly any kind of clicks and things like the geckos do, but they do hissing. This chameleon should be on board with us. There's so many insects here, he could eat his fill. And that's wonderful. Okay, everybody, I can't really stand these beetles that much longer, so I think we're going to leave our little chameleon alone and I think continue along down the road. As you can see there, I'm getting attacked. So, goodbye, Mr. Chameleon. I hope you get some wonderful dinner for you. And I think we're going to move back to infrared now, so just get ready for that. It's going to change. There we are. Okay. I've got to get these beetles out my shirt. Luckily I've got glasses on, so the beetles that were trying to fly into my eyes, they hit a glass wall. Sorry for you guys. They're climbing in my hat and in my shirt. Hey. Anyway, where's our leopards? Now, chat noir, I'm not quite sure if animals cry tears. I know that elephants they sort of leak from their eyes a little bit, but it's not known whether they do that out of sorrow or pain. So it's quite, you know, like dogs and cats, they also have this leaky substance coming out of their eyes, but it's mostly to try and assist in keeping the eye clean. And elephants also, when there's a lot of pollen around, as we saw a lot in the Masai Mara with the grass being in flower, then they also get this white substance, and it's coming out of the eyes. But you know, generally speaking, humans and the primates have a lot more emotion than all the other animals, and that's probably one of the reasons why they make better decisions than humans do, because they don't act on emotion. Now, when we make decisions based on emotion, we generally make the wrong one, and it's when you can cut all emotion out that you make the decision based on what is needed to be done rather than what you feel is, you know, nicer. It's a difficult thing to fathom, but I think that is the true reason why we make silly decisions as humans. Anyway, like all these animals, they're living in the moment, and they're not too worried about what has happened a year ago, and they're not too worried about what's going to happen in a year's time. They are living in that particular moment. It's a lot like kids. It's like my kids at home, and you know, and I'll do it, and I'm not relating anybody else's kids to animals, but I'll relate my kids to that of dogs, and that's not in any derogatory way whatsoever. It's just that they live in the moment, and it's wonderful if you can do that every day. Just live in the moment and not worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, and not worry about what happened yesterday. Live in that particular moment. But that is exactly correct. We will not be able to live in the moment if everybody leaves their plastic around and we drown in it. So let's go off to something about Earth Day. Yes, everyone, so don't forget about that, please. We all need to do our little bit to try and save our little beautiful planet that we live on. Now, I'd also like to remind you that the Dive Live Kickstarter campaign is on the go, and if you would like to contribute or get involved in the wonderful initiative of Wild Earth and Safari Live, please go on to the website. And I'd like to thank all the wonderful guides that were out today, and all the wonderful camocs, all the lovely people in FC, and most of all the viewers. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye, everybody, and see you soon.